What is up, tube users? I'm the Stereotypical Gamer, and welcome back to another episode of Z to A. Today we are taking a look at the game that won the Best with Friends award last year, and that is Spiderheck. Now, this game was definitely designed to be played with friends, but the single-player aspects of this game are actually pretty fun, and compared to other, kind of party games that are meant to be played with other people, I think this game does a really good job of having fun, replayable solo content, and that's not something you see a lot from these quote-unquote kind of party games. While there's a couple of different things that you can do solo, I really enjoy the wave survival just for the kind of roguelike aspects and the different enemies that you face. While they're all pretty simple in terms of what they do, the ways that you can kind of go around doing like trick shots to kill them and stuff, and just as hard as it gets when you get to later levels, is really fun, and the challenge is really exciting. And honestly, this is a really fun game mode to play with friends because the main game mode for Spiderheck is kind of PvPing against your friends on all these different maps, and the wave survival gives you a PvE version of that, which is kind of nice to be able to work with your friends and to screw them over still because friendly fire is active. So just to have that discourse and have that chaos and something that's not just PvP oriented is really fun, and is why I enjoyed this party game more than any others that are similar to it. And I think probably the biggest thing that this game has going for it is the platforming aspect. You know, you're playing as a spider and you can use your web to swing and stick to different areas of the map, and it just kind of makes it really fun to get that platforming down. And in the main lobby they have a secret kind of platforming thing that's extremely difficult to go through, and I've only been through part of it, and it's really fun to just have that kind of level of parkour available, and just to combine that with the different weapons and stuff that you can do with the weapons in this game really can make for some fun highlights. But while I do love this game and how fun it is, I can only ever enjoy it in small increments at a time, and that's kind of because it gets really repetitive quickly. You know, you go play wave survival, the enemies are pretty repetitive. The weapons, while there's a good amount of weaponry, there's just too many weapons that are just completely useless and just not usable at all, and it makes it kind of repetitive for the weapons that you are going to be using. And then plus the maps get really repetitive quickly, and it's a big reason why I don't enjoy this game more. And it's kind of sad because it's not like the maps in this game are all that complex, and so I really wish there was just more that they had, because I find myself repeating the maps very quickly. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of maps in this game, which is just kind of an unfortunate thing to see. And I know that there's workshop and stuff, and I think there is workshop maps that you can download, but just as part of the base game, I just want to have a plethora of non-repeating maps to play through, and I just never get that. I find myself repeating the same map multiple times over, and there are just some maps that aren't that good, so to throw bad maps into a small map pool really makes it stale quickly. And the same goes for the weapons. While there isn't any weapons that I would say are completely useless, you can definitely use every weapon to try and get kills, there's just some weapons that do more harm to you when you're wielding it than you would to others that you're trying to kill. For example, the laser beam weapon. I don't know if they have any names for any of these, but it has such a high recoil that it's hardly ever a good idea to use it, just because you're more than likely going to fling yourself off the map because of the recoil. And so weapons, and there's a bunch of weapons that are like that, where it's just more dangerous if it's in your hand than in someone else's, and that's not how it should be. And just because of that and how little weapons there are, kind of makes it stale really quickly along with that. And I like that they added these hazards to newer maps that make them interesting. This one has these portals, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out how these portals work. Obviously, you can go in through them and stuff like that, and you can throw and shoot projectiles through them, and they'll come out the other side, as you'll see here in a little bit. But I just don't know. It just doesn't feel natural to me. It doesn't feel like I wish maybe they were colored so you know, which leads to which or something like that. I can never understand it. And obviously when in a high pressure situation like you're usually in when playing on these maps, you don't really have time to figure out how things are working, and it just really annoys me. And one other small thing that kind of turned into a big thing, especially during this run that I was having, is the end screen for when you get to a new map. So basically, I think it's every 5 waves you get a new like ability, and you get to choose a new map to go on. And during that time there's like a slow motion effect when that final wave ends, and then like a screen will come up to choose your next map and whatnot. And during that time you can't move your character, and it's the same in PvP. And during that time, like if the person who won dies, it turns into a draw, and so it can be a kind of cool way to play out things, and you have to kind of survive for a second later. But during PvE, you kind of just get frozen stuck. You can't move around. Like you get this screen come up in front of you, and you can't interact or do anything as your spider. And so this run that I had just ended because I couldn't move, and there was a hazard in my way, and it just ended up killing the run. And it was just a extreme letdown that like that is just allowed to happen in the wave survival, and it's just a extremely disappointing way for it to end, and really just killed my mood at playing this game. But with the salt out of the way, I do think this is a really fun game to play with friends. I think both the wave survival and PvP are both fun and unique kind of ways to just kind of chill and play this party game, because overall the gameplay of it's really fun, and while it does get repetitive quickly, the 30 minutes playing it is enjoyable, and I enjoy it for that. And I can play it often enough that it doesn't have like non-replayability. I think the maps are fun enough that they can be replayed to a limited extent. But unfortunately, because of the repetitiveness of the maps and the just kind of unbalanced nature of weapons and the kind of repetitive nature of the weapons that you have to use each round, I couldn't recommend this game at its base price. I think on sale, this game is phenomenal. For anything less than what it is at the $15 base price, I think is a good price, because it just doesn't have, I think, a $15 worth of content to it. I do think with the workshop and what you can create and how easy it is to create different maps and stuff for this game, it does have a lot of content, but I'm just talking what the base game offers. Nothing that I can download outside of it. I don't think it is worth it. But you know, this game has been coming out with pretty consistent updates that have given some really good quality of life features and just new content overall. So I'm excited to see where this game goes and to see what new kind of intriguing content this game can offer in the future. And while I do rag on this game and can't really recommend it for its base price, I would say overall, just compared to other party games, this game is a lot better than most of them, just because it does have somewhat replayability. It has different options for different kind of game modes that you can play, whether it be PvP or PvE. It definitely offers a plethora of different ways to play the game, and that does make it fresh. And while I mainly stick to either the PvP or the PvE and playing with friends, there is a lot of ways to play, and that is a good thing for this game. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like if you did, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.